This is episode 253 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Gio Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel, I need more monitors, Manzano.
Yay.
Will, Sir List-A-Lot, Hagewood.
I like big ship count, and I cannot lie.
And Ryan, heyo, Staniszewski.
Hey, yo, for those who may have grown up watching wrestling or paying attention to it now, the unfortunate news that Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall, passed away earlier today after 3 heart attacks this past weekend. So it's a big hey-yo to everyone out there that's a wrestling fan.
All right. Well, today our podcast is, of course, brought to you by our GSP patrons. And as for announcements and news, Adapticon. We are very close. It's coming. It's not this weekend, but it's the weekend after that. We are. I will be driving to the convention center in 9 days. 9 days. Which is kind of crazy to get this done. And what I wanted to start the podcast off by saying first, it's still not too late to join the wait list, all right? All that information's in the event packet. Head to it. It's on Adapticon's website, and you can follow those steps in order to get those. Now, the other thing I want to talk about was at the convention, we are going to be doing a bunch of giveaways, and if you're watching at home, you see that I have in my hand a gauntlet fighter, and I don't have one. I have 3 gauntlet fighters and a Razor Crest. Now, one of these are for me, one of the gauntlet fighters, and I already cracked open one Razor Crest, but these, I was able to, a little bit of a hookup, was able to get some of these, and these will be given away to people at Adapticon. Now, Dion, how do I get in on this raffle? What do I gotta do? In order to get a ticket for the raffle, you gotta participate in pods. It's the only way to get yourself some raffle tickets. And what we'll be doing is there's gonna be several different, because we're going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, okay? What we'll do is that we'll raffle a certain amount of items per day, and we'll call out the numbers, and if you're not there, wrecked. Gotta be present to win. I'm not holding on the prizes, all right? I call your name, and I hand it to you, and that transaction is over, all right? So, we're going to be giving away a total of 2 gauntlet fighters, 1 Razor Crest. We have, I left it in the other room. We have this awesome Millennium Falcon that lights up and makes sounds. We have a couple of other Squadron packs as well. Super excited about it, but the only way to get them is by being there in person at Adapticon. So I'm going to put my pile of gauntlet fighters right there. Super excited to crack one of those open and play with it. I won't be able to play with it this week, but the following week I probably will. Anywho, today is where will there be some to buy there too? There will not be any Razor Crest there to buy or gauntlet fighters. None. Those are the 3 that I have, and they are called for. I tried to get some, I'll be honest. I'd be like, hey, you want to have some for selling? And they say, we don't have any. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to go get some then. And I figured since I can only get a few of them, we'll give them away. Cool. Today, list extravaganza. List critiques. X-Wing 2.5 list day. What we did is we called out on the Discord and said, hey, if you got lists, let us know what you've been flying, what do you like, what do you want us to take a look at. And for the next while, we're going to just be breaking down lists. So we know that you guys like list building. Maybe we call your list, maybe not. We're going to try to get through as many as possible. I will tell you that if you presented your information in an organized fashion, you had a higher chance of getting picked. All right, here we go. We're going to start with the first one, boys, that I pulled here. This is a first order list. This is a first order list. This comes from Oh, dang it. I clicked on the wrong thing. One more. Of course. I clicked over on Discord and boo. I know. I was so ready. I was prepared. I had everything up right there. I'm going to have to scroll back up. That's a drag. This one comes from a player located somewhere on this beautiful earth of ours. Sorry, guys. 1 second. I was so ready. I don't understand why that did that. All right. I promise I'll edit all this out. If you've watched this show enough, you know that's a lie. Sebastian M said, I finished 3-0 with this at a tournament. I'm happy with it, but I'm open to different whirlwind builds. So looks like he wants to keep all the ships, but he's not entirely sure what he wants to do with whirlwind. Let's break this down real quick. I will tell you, if you're listening at home, we're going to do our best. Remember, there's a lot of upgrade cards, which means we're going to have to go through this quickly. But I would suggest, if you can, pop open the video on YouTube later on if there's a list you really like, and go find it that way. Here we go. So we have Nightfall Whirlwind 709th Legion Ace ×3 for a total of 20 points. And if we go and take a look at the 709th Legion Aces, they're all built out exactly the same. We have Proud Tradition, Ion Missiles, Enhanced Jamming Suite, and Pattern Analyzer. On Nightfall, we have Proud Tradition as well, Ion Missiles, Pattern Analyzer, Enhanced Jamming Suite, and Sensor Scrambler, allowing you to have those the decloak or the cloak token at the beginning of the game. And then Whirlwind has Crack Shot, Trick Shot, Advanced Optics, and Enhanced Jamming Suite. Now, the question I think that Sebastian has is, out of all of the TIE Whispers, Whirlwind has the most points available, and probably just is not entirely sure what he wants to do there. He could build it out exactly the same as the other ones, but he's got some extra stuff here. So right, Proud Tradition is how many points? It's 2.
It's 2, and I found out, unfortunately, it only comes in the TIE BA pack. They didn't put any more in the Fury, the First Order, or the Xi Shuttle. I'm really sad about that.
Strong. So you have to have bought 5 TIE
Please
BAs.
borrow from your friends who aren't flying the First Order at that event or something.
Correct.
So many TIE BAs. I'm really sad they didn't put more Proud Traditions in more packs.
Yep. Somebody says, we'll file that under TTS list. Do not be surprised, my friend. Do not be surprised. I have seen plenty of pictures of people with a tray with 5 TIE Whispers on it. All right? You got to remember, you could beg, borrow, and steal. Don't steal. To get as many TIE Whispers as you need. Quickly, just kind of looking at his list, he said he went 3-0 at a tournament with this. Whirlwind, let's go ahead and remind ourselves, is before you engage, you may remove any number of jam tokens. Then you may gain 1 focus token for each enemy ship that has you in their front arc. Go ahead, Marcel.
Yeah, so actually I've been playing against Whirlwind. I've built a few lists with Whirlwind.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably, if not the best, or maybe in the top 3 best ships that you can, point value-wise in the First Order. The thing that makes Whirlwind so good is that ability when you engage, you get multiple tokens. Mm-hmm. So what that means is you're gonna, especially with the list count right now being at 5, 6, and 7 ship lists, that's a ton of tokens, with that. So without Crack Shot, without Trick Shot, is replacing the Crack Shot and the Trick Shot. Trick Shot trades very well for cluster missiles, because again, with multiple focuses, with advanced optics, if you have 4 or 5, you can end up with 4 or 5 focuses. That's double modding, because you can mod a blank into a hit, and then you're focused for regular focuses. And then with your other one, you can do either a Crack Shot or you can do Fanatical, which Fanatical is always a good call here. Mm-hmm. And then I wouldn't do Proud Tradition. I think Proud Tradition in general is just with these guys, they have a pretty good rear arc, but you can do whatever you want with the other 2 points. Proud Tradition, Predator, whatever you want. But just throw Fanatical and then 2 points on something else. So that's probably the best version, or what takes advantage of Whirlwind's ability the most is that. Now, in order for that to happen, there was an errata. So before, you didn't have to have a jam token in order to activate Whirlwind's ability. You can just, if you, no matter what it was, as long as you were, as long as when you engaged, like they had separated the thing in 2.0, but now you have to get rid of the jam token in order for it to happen, I believe. The other thing is that if you're jamming yourself, that in order to get your agility up, that probably means you're don't have any tokens, right? So you're defending with that. So maybe throw some elusive on there so you can get some modifiers on your defensive rolls, because you'll be rolling 3 dice defensively. Because you'll be jamming yourself to get that 3rd dice. Anyway, so that's that. I have one more change, but it would be swapping out one ship.
Can I ask you something then? About the jam and stuff. Would that not work with cluster missiles then?
No,
you can't
it
be
would.
jammed.
You're right.
And
It would not. But that's why I said I had one more change. That's the best list. I mean, that's the best version of that.
The best version of
actually,
these 5 ships.
Yeah, well, yeah, because at that point you would be just using your target lock, and with your target lock, you would not be jamming yourself. You would just target lock, and either pass off a jam token at range 1, or just not jam yourself, so you can maintain that target lock. But don't erase any of the 709s, because that's not what that person asked for. But just for the people listening, add midnight, Typho midnight.
Midnight.
Trust me. Add midnight. So he's 4 points. Throw fanatical, swarm tactics. So throw fanatical in there.
Okay.
Swarm tactics. Then for the tech, throw the targeting synchronizer. And then you can throw probably ion missiles and hull, let's say. You can also do like hull, upgrade, shield, whatever. But with this, basically you fly Midnight and Whirlwind together. Whirlwind, Midnight can turn Whirlwind into an initiative 6 with swarm tactics. So basically, Midnight moves at initiative 6, takes a target lock. Whirlwind basically is shadowing Midnight and jams itself. So at the start of combat at initiative 6, can dump that jam, get all the focuses, and then can leverage Midnight's target lock ability to basically just to shoot at any ship it wants, because targeting synchronizer allows Whirlwind to take that shot. Additionally, Midnight's ability also allows the rest of the list to fire their ion missiles as well. So even if they, because they cannot target lock and rotate back, but they can focus. I think they can focus rotate, right? So if they can focus rotate, that means they can focus rotate, leverage Midnight's targeting synchronizer to fire off their missiles out of the back as well. So I would replace one of those 709s for Midnight for that specific purpose.
Okay, and you're choosing to go with Midnight because of the initiative 6,
just to get it up to get Whirlwind up to initiative 6, so Whirlwind can get tokened up and fire those cluster missiles with double mods.
Okay.
When I say double mods, I mean the advanced optics and the regular focus result, not the target lock. So you can get up there with those double mods, 2 double modded shots, depending on how many ships are pointing at it at initiative 6. And the nice thing about Midnight now is that Midnight sucks against, or has traditionally sucked against 4, 5, 6 ship lists, because it's just a lot of fire. The difference now is that those 5, 6 ships are actually spread out to get objectives, so they're not flying in a block. So Midnight will probably only get shot by 1 or 2 ships, and again with the hull upgrade, and
Has a little more staying power.
yeah, it's just it'll stick around a little bit longer. So it's,
Okay.
you just put it somewhere where it's not jousting the bulk of the squad. And if they end up going after Midnight, okay, you got 4 Whispers that are still, that are still out there doing stuff.
All right, cool. So got a couple of different ideas there for you, Sebastian. Overall, maybe tweaking the Whirlwind build to be a little bit more offensive, and the possibility of swapping in a targeting synchronizer FO of some kind. Suggested Midnight. A couple people in the chat said you can maybe even go with something like Null, get you to Initiative 7. There's some sacrifices you have to make with the upgrade points there, the loadout points, if you do that, but there's a couple of ideas for you. All right, Ryan, what was one you wanted to take a peek at?
Let's go with. I have a Rebel Alliance list from Tim Open.
Tim Open, let's go.
It says, I like everything about this list, but AP5, he dies so fast because he's such an enabler. I almost want to fly 5 wings with Wedge, but double modded Proton Torch and Wedge are fantastic. I want double mods, but I don't want to give up 3 easy points to my opponent. So
Could
the list
you
itself.
real quick? Can you tell me what's the time, like the time on that post?
That would be. Scroll back down a little bit. That is 5:36 p.m. today, so it'd be 4:36 for you.
Okay, got it.
I also have the link in our notes.
We got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, this is Tim Open. Got it. It's coming. All right.
Yeah, mentioned Wedge, Proton Torpedoes, so that's innately we have X-Wing Wedge with, I believe, currently the quote default loadout, or the starting point, which is Afterburners, Proton Torpedoes, Predator. The 2-point talent could swap between Predator, Elusive, Enduring, whatever you want to take as a 2-point talent. Predator just matches really well with Wedge because he's Mr. Offense. Then we have Shara Bay in the RZ-1A wing with crack shot, thread tracers, vectored cannons, 2 Green Squadron pilot A-wings with marksmanship, crack shot, and vectored cannons as well, standardized. Derek, who has vectored cannons, and AP5 with K2SO R4, which is, I think, also developing into sort of the starting point loadout for AP5. So so AP5 is a little bit of a two-headed or a double-sided coin here. So yes, he can die if you leave him out to dry. He's really good at staying back, collecting some of those objective points and some of the ones at the first objective you take on your side of the board, while sort of tailing Wedge. Honestly, if they end up going after AP5, that's 3 points that I'm okay losing in most games because he's not exactly the best objective taker either, but he is enabling Wedge to take something off the board really, really well. I do think that something to consider, because I've been seeing a lot of people trying out like mass A-wings. There's other 3-point ships I think people should consider looking at. Like, instead of one of these Green Squadron pilots, you can have Ezra TIE Fighter, who has a force, who can take an evade, who becomes a really, really good crate carrier, and as well has a crew slot and has 8 total points to work with a ton of crew and rebels. Obviously, one of the more famous wide-spreading crews that works across the entire list is Leia crew. So allowing those red maneuvers to become white can be really effective when you have something like Wedge that would like to still be double modded, even when doing a K-turn or talent roll. And then you have other 3-pointers, like a lot of people have been focusing a lot on Blount, obviously the 2-point Z95. I think people are ignoring Kraken a little bit and forgetting that he now has a torp and sensor slot. So you have a small Z95 that could take up to 9 points of upgrades for 3 points total as a loadout. Has some in engagement sort of coordinating. If anyone's in range 1 of him, they can take a red action after he shoots someone, which can be valuable. And then You can do anything from plasma torps to passive sensors ion torps to you got plenty of options to go with. It's just here's 3 points of a Z95 that can actually both either affect it on a control level with the torpedoes, which could really help keep Wedge on target, keep things from moving or getting to objectives, can also keep ships from hunting down your AP5, or could also help set up your multiple arc coverage that you have with those A-wings. So some other food for thought on some other 3-pointers you could look at in Rebels, other than just let's do more generics, because not that the generics aren't a good option. You can use them. You have a lot of overlapping arcs with the vectored cannons. System phase actions are good, especially boost. But I think there is some really good objective value in something like Ezra TIE Fighter, and you may get a little more bang for your buck out of a Aaron Kraken Z95.
All right. So how would you want me to swap this out? Give me the final form through all that.
I would say knock out the Green Squadron pilots. Put in Ezra TIE with Compassion and Leia crew. And then put in Aaron Kraken with, we'll go passive sensors and ion torpedoes, just to give some of that good ion control. He's I5, you may not need passive sensors. It's just to scare those I6s a little bit. Plus you have AP5 there too, who could not only still coordinate Wedge to get him full mods, but you could pass the calculate to Kraken, just in case you want him to have a soft mod with the calculate without having to worry about not having anything defensively or on top of the lock that you get with passive sensors offensively.
Sorry, I had a small child enter the room right as you were telling me all that. But I think everybody at home's got the gist. Thank you, Ryan. Sorry about that. All right, Will. Let's go ahead. What are you serving up for us here?
So we've done Rebels and First Order.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look at this Empire list. This is Tessera at 442 as a note. I got the link in our notes. All right, so Tessera said, this list revolves around getting Vessery into good spots to delete ships with 8 dice in 1 turn, and using the others to support and grab objectives. Dislike the low extra economy and difficulty getting easy locks for Vessery. So let's take a look here. So this is Colonel Vessery. Remember, he is the defender who can get free locks after he rolls dice if the defending ship has a lock. So basically, he gets free rerolls as long as someone else has a lock on it. He's got marksmanship and auto blaster, ion missiles, fire control system, and defender elite. So he needs that fire control system so he could keep his lock for the follow-up cannon or missile attack. So you can even shoot ion missiles and then follow up with the auto blaster, or vice versa, primary, then ion, so on and so forth. Which gives him a lot of versatility in his shots, though he does take a big hit for the defender elite. Paired with him is an I5X1, Merrick Stell, marksmanship, crack shot, fire control system, shield upgrade, loves locks, loves crits. All that makes sense to me, though he's missing, I think, afterburners on there, just to be sure. Anyways, rounding out the list is a Notorious Jingoist. These are the new TIE fighters that came with Moff Gideon. Because they have an illicit, you can take Notorious. This one's got Dead Man Switch, so if it blows up, it hurts everybody. Notorious and Jingoist is an interesting combination. They say before you engage, you can choose an enemy ship in your front arc at range 0 to 1. If you do, that ship gains a deplete or strain of your choice, unless it chooses to remove 1 green token. So that's that strain token is interesting for Notorious's reroll. because Notorious hands out strains if you're shot, but also you get rerolls for strains. So basically, Jingoist at range 1 always has a reroll because he can always give out that strain or have them remove the token. Moff Gideon, though, to round out the list, is actually new to me, so let's read it together here. While an enemy ship at range 1 to 3 defends, before attack dice are rolled, he can spend one of his 2 charges that recur and choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. If you do, defense dice cannot be modified during this attack, and the chosen friendly ship gains 1 strain token. So assuming you're gonna like strain the dead man switch Jingoist to try to get some heat off of Vessery there. Defense dice, or no, when an enemy ship attacks, this is an offensive ability. I was reading
offensive,
it defensively. Yeah. Okay. So it's like Ruthless, but strain for kind of
it's like turning
effect.
the shot into midnight. That's what it's doing.
Yeah, so like a Ruthless plus Midnight kind of combination. Okay. False transponder codes, targeting computer, cloaking device, and enduring. Wow. That's quite the TIE fighters in here. So a couple things I like. I really like Merrick Stell, but he is very expensive in this list, taking up 5 squad points for it. Makes the targeting computers make sense to me for the Vessery combination. The problem is they have very little coordinating for Merrick or Gideon when they reach for those locks, so it can be very, very dangerous. So I think that's the first thing that we should look into, is trying to get a coordinator out there who could potentially also get some free locks. So let's take a look here. I'm reaching for the Reaper. They're all 5 points, right? And I think that if we drop both of these ties, I know, dropping both the ties, for Night Beast and Major Vermeil. Night Beast, of course, 2 points, a bargain. And Major Vermeil. And then we're actually going to put, is it the...
You said Night Beast, and what was the other one?
Major Vermeil in the TIE Reaper. Then I'm trying to remember the upgrade that we're looking for here. That's right. It's Director Krennic. So that's going to give Major Vermeil a lock and a combination to allow Vessery to actually strip tokens, or strip shields rather, with his primary attacks. All right. I got 4 more points on there. Let me double check. What was the... Is there a new one that I like? Captain Hark. That's who we're going with. Captain Hark's a new crew from Pride of Mandalore. Says after you fully execute a red maneuver, if you are not focused, you can spend a charge to gain 1 focus. So twice a game on Vermeil's red maneuvers, sloops or stops, hard turns. They all are, they can give him a red focus. And we're just going to round it off with, let's go marksmanship, because crits are good. So in this build, you're able to focus Vermeil on coordinating Merrick Stell up until the point you can get the target lock. All right. Then you can start helping out on offense. And as long as you can keep coordinating Merrick Stell, then hopefully he can keep those locks going with Fire Control System. And I could see this, and then you just have Night Beast out there grabbing objectives, right? Like if he's rolling red dice, great for him. But it's mostly coming from these 3 guys.
He's out there focus evade every turn, ideally.
Yeah, focus evade or focus scramble, right? Focus tow, whatever happens to be the case. He's just a great little ship to throw in there. And this way, you have a little bit of chunk. You can actually just bait as well, Vermeil. to just like go grab objectives. They're reasonably fast, though they do a lot of red maneuvers for the tow actions. But yeah, I think that, man, the 2 TIE fighters, yeah, you're just not going to get enough value out of them, especially if you're trying to take target locks. So I think throwing a coordinator in there with, and I wouldn't change anything about Merrick still, other than adding afterburners to fill out the loadout points. But
can I say
that was an oversight?
One thing that I am a little like, whenever I see a list like this where you have an 8-point ship, I always like. I think we talked about it on Saturday when we were streaming. When you have that big point ship, you got to make sure that thing does work. Like, I understand that the whole idea is that like Vessery is the point of your spear for this, but I worry because once Vessery goes down, if he goes down early, that seems like a bad time.
Have to go down. He can just. That's a little bit of a difference between 2.5 and 2.0, is that these 8-point ships, they don't have to go down. They just have to not produce. So if Vessery, you have 8 points not grabbing or dropping objectives from people, not killing ships, then it doesn't have to go down, and it's probably not going to go down. I mean, it's a defender. I mean, the likelihood of defenders going down right now are pretty low. I mean, if you have a defender, you're most likely going to survive the entire match. But it's just not pulling enough weight. If you were to break that out, just think about, regardless of what ships there are, just think about if you break that out into 3-3-2. Now you have 3-3-2. Now you can be collecting 2 points every round, and then having one ship just contesting something. And that's when the numbers come in. So if you're going to invest 6, 7, 8 points or more into a ship, you just have to consider that with the objectives, it's going to have to contribute every single round. You don't have time to
dilly-dallying.
Yeah, you can't dilly-dally. You can't. I mean, it has to produce. And if it rolls bad offensive dice or defensive, it doesn't really matter. It'll have tokens. If you roll bad offensive dice or offense dice, that's 8 points that's just not contributing. And with 5 or 6 rounds that you have max in objectives, again, different for the chance encounter, but for the 3 objective ones, they have to produce. So I'm of the thought that if you're going to go with a 7 or 8 point ship, you probably want a bunch of 3s and 2s on there to round out, or even some 4s. Like going 8-5-5, I think it's a little bit of a risk. And if you are going to go with an 8, you probably want a medium or a large base ship that can at least compete a little bit more in at least that one objective. The King of the Hill one. I wonder if I'm ever going to learn those objectives.
Assault on the satellite array?
Yeah, I have, the only way I can keep them track is like what's your action, right? I just call them scramble, tow, assault. I understand now what that means, and then chance engagement.
Yeah, the way I know them is capture the flag, action to turn, action to carry, or dogfight.
You know, with all the big brain that Marcel has, you think he could just like take like a couple bites of his beautiful brain and just take the words, but no, never mind. You know, it's
all right.
Hard times.
Before we wrap up this one, to counter what you're saying, Marcel, which I do agree. I was trying to keep this one Vessery and Merrick at least, and a TIE fighter technically. But Dion, if you want to pull up the list I sent you in Discord, this might be the better way to run Vessery. Is with some X1s.
Vessery Strom in the storm.
Yeah, so this is a way easier way to guarantee that someone's going to have a lock around there, which is Strom with Tracers, Storms with FCSs, and then a non-elite Vessery. But without that double tap, might not be as effective though. So... but this at least gives you 5 ships and a lot of locks, a lot of agility. To me, though, I've been obsessed with Strom and Storms. They're just. You can get I just learned this because I was blinded by Fire Control System. That the Tempest you can get hull upgrades on. That's a 6 health I2 with 3 attack dice. What?
Well, conditional 3 attack dice.
Whatever. You got hull upgrade, you'll survive a round, right?
Just saying, if you don't get your lock on something, you're just a pity
I
little
know.
2 dice.
I know. That's
why I like the Alpha Interceptors right now more than the X1s.
I mean, I'm bringing Strom with Tracers, so. Or why not both? You know what I mean? Why
True
not?
that.
I like
Let's-
Strom mixed in with Interceptors. How about that?
There you go. Yes.
All right, well let's keep it rolling. We're back to I'm all mixed up. Bryant, Marcel. It's
Neil, do
Marcel's
you have
turn.
one?
I think his was the first one that I bogarted.
Correct. Continue, Marcel.
That Marcel and his opinions. Might as well go on the first one on the list. And it's in the Google Doc. Mm-hmm. It said it's from. Oh God, I don't remember who it's from.
It's the CIS list.
Yeah. I forgot. Sorry, I forgot who posted it because we were just taking stuff. I'll go in there now.
I think I
Should
see
be
the
there.
name right here. CIS Ruvenstar? Is that it?
Ruvenstar.
Ruben Star. Okay,
That's what it
there you
says
go.
in the thing.
Anyway, loved Grievous in 2.0, and he's back better than ever in 2.5. I tried a couple games with this list so far and loved the amount of control it could have between the Ion and the Buzz droids, etc. My main hangup was whether or not it would be worth it to scrap the Precise Hunters and downgrade them back into the 2-point Vultures to get more bodies on the board, but 4 health Vultures firing Ion cannons just sounds good to me as well. Either that or switching the back toys to bombardment drones for the payloads. There was also always the option to cheat. Oh, like I said, and go independent calculations, but ignore the last line of the card, right? Yeah, you can always do that. You can always cheat. Have a good night. Well, you can't cheat. You got to come up with your own cheats, okay? Because once they get debunked
ASP does not condone the words of
you can't do
Marcel
it
at this
again.
current time.
No, it's fine. You can cheat. Just come
Disclaimer,
up with your own
disclaimer.
cheat. Yeah, you can't steal somebody else's cheat. You gotta find your own way to cheat.
All right, so this guy's asking whether he wants plus 1 ship or different tech. Is that kind of to boil it down?
Yeah, so basically a couple things. He's asking whether it's better to just drop down to get additional bodies with the 2-point drones, or
I mean,
take
additional
the-
1 body, right? You could get 1.
Yeah, an
right?
additional body. Well, yes, you can get an additional 1. No, if you drop all
The
3,
hunters.
you drop 2 to get 3. Yeah, you drop 2, but I don't think that's the right call. So the Precise Hunters, I agree that Ion cannons with hull upgrade and then rerolls and bullseye are really good right now. Like the Ion, I think. Well, you and I were talking about this the other day. Like, just
I'm
how
obsessed with
good-
ion cannons
Yeah,
and
like
missiles.
Ion
like,
right now
I-
is just.
I have a
it's
hard
just-
time not putting an eye on something in my list.
Yeah, because with objectives, it's all about where you are in the board, not so much how much damage you're doing, because you're probably not going to kill ships. You just want to keep ships from doing objectives. So Precise Hunters, I do like the idea of swapping out the Bactoid prototype drones, more than anything because they have Initiative 1, and the rest of your Precise Hunters are Initiative 3. So I would probably go with the bombardment drones again, just to add a little bit more. They're at 5 hull, same as the Bactoids, but they loaded out with cluster bombs and what's the other bomb? The counter nets.
Mm-hmm.
With cluster bombs and counter nets, it just gives them. They're really good at basically saying, okay, you can come contest this objective, but if you're gonna have to fly through XYZ bombs. And again, it keeps everybody at Initiative 3 right now with 6 ships on the board. Bumping to yourself being kind of a bad thing. It allows you to it allows you to kind of make sure that you don't bump yourself by being able to move, barrel rolling out of the way, doing things like that. And then another question that he had was about the replacement for network calculates. What is it?
He was just memeing you there. That wasn't a real question.
Well, it should have been a question. So on the bombardment drones, because vultures have the they've got the grappling stress, whatever. With the bombardment drones, you can also get the double calculates for stress as well. Independent calculations. There you go. So, yeah, long-winded way of saying, I would totally swap out the Bactoids for the bombardment drones. You get initiative 3 out of them to match the rest of the squad, plus you get the independent calculations on them, and you get more area. Think about it this way: you have a bunch of ions. You can't what?
Can you get independent calculations? Oh, there it is, 0. And then what do you go here for the bombs?
Counter nets and cluster mines.
There you go. ×2.
Yeah, and that way you, if you ionize something, it makes it real easy to line up those bombs that you can drop out of the front.
All right, there you go. So go ahead, so it's just basically, so we're leaving the precise hunters alone. It's just deciding to go for that tech on the bombs. Very nice. So hopefully that ends up helping you out. And I do agree, Grievous, lots of value there. Very good ship.
Is there a better 5-point ship?
It's pretty good. It's pretty
what you can
solid.
do with Grievous, you can go whole shields. To put it simply, like you can get them thick.
There are not a lot of ships in the game where I would say you almost have to start out or highly consider this ship every time you build a list for this faction, other than Grievous and Separatist.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say, a large part of that is obviously how good Grievous is. He's such a amazing flanker. You will be able to get flanks because of how spread out everything is. You will be able to pick something apart. But it also shows the stuff that CIS doesn't have to compete with him though either. So that he's like so locked in because there's not much to really compete with his spot. Which is also kind of sad though. So, still really good though.
Just a quick note with people asking, like, wait, don't the bombardment drones taking independent calculations affect the vultures? They do not, because its standardized upgrades are based on the ship, not the ship ability. So all hyenas in the list must take independent calculations. Just a quick clarification there. All right, Ryan, what do we got? What do you want?
Well, I could go. We're trying to, I assume, get a broad stroke of factions right now.
Yeah, I'm keeping track right there on the bottom of the screen.
All right, I just found a Republic one that I feel like we can do here.
Is it from Karth?
It is from Karth, yes.
Got it.
Karth says, I just want to fly Anakin, whether it's Aether Sprite, 7B, or 8-2. Anything else can change, just looking for the best list with him. Which Anakin is the right Anakin. So at least the start of this list so far is Aether Sprite 7 only Anakin, not 7B. And then there's Ahsoka in Delta 7, Barriss in Delta 7, Hawk, Lat, and Contrail. I think that's a solid starting point. I think Barriss might be one of the best 3-cost ships in the game. Definitely in the Republic for sure. Republic actually has a lot of good 3-cost things. Turns out their whole faction does. Contrail is also really good 2-cost. So it's hard in Republic to not have at least like, here's my best 3, and here, well, only 2, still a good 2 at Contrail. I really like Ahsoka. I've probably tweaked the loadout, but we'll get into that in a moment because I think we're just talking about like the base pilot so far and maybe considering what Anakin's the best Anakin. Hawk is probably the lat you take. It literally is the same cost as all other lats except Warthog and gets a insane amount of upgrade points with 23. You literally could just put so many things on there.
Call them the toy box.
Now, being that you have a lot of already CLT Jedi in there, I think doubling down on it, which Karth did, with the 7 Anakin that has CLT, because you have a LAT that can take 7th Fleet Gunner, is going to provide some really, really good spike damage. When you have I6 with double reposition capability and the fire convergence, that's all really good. So I think I want to tweak what's here first before maybe considering what other Anakins I would maybe use. I'd first probably knock down the Diamond Boron missiles and Plo Koon crew on Hawk and just turn that into Ayla Secura. It's an equal flop. Ayla Secura is probably one of the best crew in the game because it's just do a focus action and then also do a purple coordinate. That is extremely good. You're not stressing your ship at all, and you're providing coordinate capability. You're keeping 7th Fleet, and you even have dedicated, which these Delta 7s really like being covered by. I think Barriss Offee is fine. Her standard loadout is seemingly, at this point, instinctive aim concussion missiles. The Ahsoka Tano, I'm not sure about regen, at least, for sure. Shattering Shot could be pretty funny with 7th Fleet as well, but you're not an Ada. I think that's where Shattering Shot really would work well because you have system phase repost where you can land behind an obstacle. What I do think Ahsoka's really good at is taking Chopper Astromech, so get rid of both her current force and her Astromech and put a Chopper. Because of her ability, even in early game, she can go up and contest an objective, take that stressful red evade, spend a force on herself to take a focus. You're a focus evade Delta 7, you are safe where you are in most cases. You're 1 point left, just take compassion. Now, when I say just take compassion,
is compassion? Which one is compassion?
Compassion is before another friendly ship range 02 would be dealt a face-up pilot or crew. Crew's the epic one. Not a lot of people get a lot of use out of it, but for 1 point, you can turn a death-dealing pilot crit into saving that ship's life.
So more than that, I flew 3 Jedi and 3 Naboo yesterday, and compassion was one of the winners one of the main things that allowed me to win because of the we were playing the one where if you take a crit you drop the thing.
Salvage cargo.
Yeah, yep. That way. So it's basically just saying nope, I'm not going to drop my salvage cargo and I'm just going to hold on to it. So yeah, it'll keep you alive, but it'll also keep the ship that's carrying the shipment, the cargo, from dropping it.
Are you talking compassion?
Yeah.
Compassion, you still suffer the damage.
You may
before
range 0 to 2 would a friendly ship range 0 to 2 would be dealt a face-up pilot damage card. You may spend 1 force charge. If you do, that damage card is discarded instead, and you are dealt 1 face-down damage card.
So it doesn't get
obviously, since it's 0 to 2, that's just yourself. So you could turn a face-up pilot into just a face-down, but you'd be dealing yourself 2 face. Yeah, no.
I guess
you just be changing it on yourself, but on a other ship, that is discarded, and you, the user of compassion, takes that 1 face-down damage card.
Right, I understand that, but is there a difference? This is very technical, I guess. Is there a difference between a crit going through the deal damage step and then you suffering the card? Is the card the physical representation?
Oh, you mean like the
crit
suffer
damage?
for carrying the cargo? No, you still suffered the crit icon damage. The damage card itself, whatever happens afterward, I don't think matters. So actually,
I don't think it doesn't save you from.
I'm super curious to get this one. That's one of the ones. I think what's his name? Chris has a.
Chris Allen's got a big doc going.
Yeah, because that's so weird to me.
Yeah, because I had another question similar with Unkar Plut and.
Okay, I'm gonna cut you off there, just real quick. I am real quick, just to say if you have questions for Adapticon, we put a post out. It's on Fly Better. It's now linked in the event document. If you have any like technical rules questions like that for Adapticon, you need to fill out that form, and you will get a reply back. And we're going to compile all the questions before the event. So make sure to go ahead and get those questions in. Continue, Marcel.
And somebody fill that one out, please, if it's.
It's in there already. Don't ask it again. It's in there already.
I'm sure it is. I honestly, I honestly don't know.
We don't.
We
We made the doc yesterday. We don't have all the answers.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so finishing out the current build with Anakin, I like the Mag Pulse. I6 Mag Pulse can do really good. Not only the crit potential with the salvage mission, but also just you are neutering an enemy ship either both offensively and defensively potentially, just by jamming them and depleting them. But I think the other 5 points, I don't know if I go heightened perception, instinctive aim. I think you're already I6. If you just deal with have other I6s on the board, I think you're much better off being much harder to track down. I would spend those 5 points on extreme maneuvers. Extreme maneuvers at I6 is very, very dangerous, very squirrely. Now, and I kind of want to open this up to you guys. The best Anakins in Republic. My thoughts right now are either N1 Anakin, because you get passive sensors, proton torpedo, and your choice for 3 points left, or Ada Anakin with the malice, marksmanship, auto blasters, and then I think you can even fit R2D2 Astromech on there, which against the Tragedy Sim B-Wings right now, just eating up a bomb with R2 Astromech could be really important in some of those matchups. And with the system phase reposition, that is a really high ceiling capable ship, and auto damage is auto damage right now with those crits. Not to say that this Delta 7 can't work. I think it can do really good. In this list, when you have a LAT with the 7th Fleet and the rerolls, CLTs hurt really, really bad.
I think the Eda's probably the best because you can get Malice, R7.
Yeah, super crit.
And Malice, R7, and Marksman for like 3 automatic crits going through. If you line up that bullseye and that I6 with repositioning, and so many ships out there, it's not impossible to do.
And
then on top of all that, you can still throw a shield upgrade on there on top of all that.
For those putting Barris in your list and most Republic lists, Barris's ability could actually help out the Auto Blaster crit generation as well.
Oh, nice.
Don't forget, Barris has an ability. While a friendly ship at range 0-2 performs an attack, if the defender's in its bullseye, which Ada probably wants something in its bullseye with Auto Blasters, you may spend a force to change one eyeball to a hit or a hit to a crit.
That would be 4 crits.
Oh, damn. just
Malice,
turns...
marksmanship, R7A7, and Barris. If you have 4 hits, you can get 4 crits.
There you go. It's the make you sad combination. All right, there you go. So hopefully that Anakin is the Anakin you want. We gave you some other suggestions there to swap out as well. I do like the extreme maneuvers change there, Ryan, quite a bit. It does make a huge difference in the end game. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Will, you got a Scum or Resistance list for me?
I do have a Scum one. This is at the top by my name here. Jordan V coming in with a Scum list. This description goes as follows. I'm trying to find a balance of enough ships to cap objectives and enough firepower to take out ships. Bubble puts up hits like crazy, and the Fangs can too. But it seems like I lack punch to get through beef. And then Republic beef, or Rebel beef being the biggest bean there. So this list starts off with Boba Fett, Fearless, Contraband, Hull, Marauder, Veteran Tail Gunner, and Maul. That's right, Maul back on Boba Fett. Then has the new Mandalorian Royal Guard. This is a Fang Fighter I-4 that says, while a friendly non-small ship defends, if you are in the attack arc, you may gain 1 deplete and 1 strain token. If you do, the defender may change one result to an evade result. So kind of gives some automatic evades to Boba as long as the Mandalorian is in the attack arc, if I believe, yeah. So a weird selfless, basically, because I'm a rebel player. That's what I equated to. Rounding out the list, though, we have Gamet Key, who can hold circular tokens every other round with elusive Fenrau Crew, which allows ships to remove one non-lock red token before it engages if there's a ship at range 1. A lot of ranges going on there for Fenrau Crew. Then the last 2 points goes to Ahav. And this is interesting to me because I came across the same conundrum. Is when I was trying to challenge myself of building a Boba Fett list for objectives. I mean, that Boba Fett is crazy with veteran turret, like rerolls, force, automatic hits with fearless, man, all over the place. Missing a bomb, though, I will say that. I would probably drop the hull for some sort of bomb as a note, especially with that veteran tail gunner. I think they're super important, especially for the fire spray and your damage potential. I don't really know about the Mandalorian guard. That seems like way too risky to be flying. I guess you have Gamet Key to hold him some focus tokens. But now you had to fly all your ships basically together, right? Like the Fang Fighter, Gamet Key, and Boba Fett all had to be more or less in the same place to be effective, right? Ahav, obviously, just find an objective and score. Find an objective, score 3 points, Ahav. That's all we ask of you. And I mean, this is, I got some suggestions, right? And mostly they're drop Ahav and the Mandalorian guard for a good 7-point ship. There's a bunch of them in Scum, turns out. But this, I'm really want to know your guys' thoughts on these like 10-point ships. If you can't run a swarm, right? If this was Empire or Separatist, we'd say 5 2-point ships, right? But you can't do that in Scum. What do you guys reach for?
I think in this particular one, because I got Cam Murray's one. I wrote Cam Murray's list in minus one of the ones that I was going to review. It was a 3-ship list that he said he went 3-0 or 4-0 at a tournament on.
Okay,
but
I didn't see that, but yeah, Boba Fett, Fen Rao, and Gamet Key.
It was Boba Fett, Fen Rao, and Gamet.
Okay.
I'm of the current opinion with the limited number of rounds that are happening is the better option is Dengar right now, because with Dengar you can load it up to do some real bad damage. You can roll out. There's a number of ways to load out Dengar, but you basically put R5 P8 on it, proton torpedoes, punishing one title.
Yeah. Every mod you can slap to that thing, right?
And yeah, I mean, you're just really loading it up. And Gamet Key is there to basically.
Notorious as well.
What if I just don't shoot your Dengar?
Cool.
that's
I'll shoot torps then.
Yeah.
I mean, but you only. I'm just saying, like the solution just being like, oh, Dengar, easy.
Well, what I'm saying is because they're not trying to shoot Boba Fett either. If you're trying to shoot Boba Fett right now in the objectives, I mean, you're not going to kill Boba Fett in 5 rounds unless you've got 5 or 6 ships shooting at it. It's just not really going to happen. So it's the same kind of conundrum. You're either shooting to get shot back, not shooting to get shot back, or not shooting because it's kind of wasted shots. Unless you're going to chase it and kill those points, you're not going to do anything. But the point that I'm trying to make is that Dengar comes in at 7 points, and it gives you 3 points to put towards something else. So now you went from a Alpha Strike hard-hitting list at 4 ships to a Alpha Strike hard-hitting list that has some staying power with 5 ships. So now you can take those 3 points and there's you know,
Right,
Scum
but
is probably,
so you, Marcelo, just to reel you back in here.
yep.
It's not what could be better. It's how do we do 3 ship builds? How can we get them
Oh,
to be
I
good?
modified Cam's into another 3 ship. I kept the 3 ships with Cam's
So-
because he wanted a 3 ship list. But I'm just saying, you were asking on the 10-point.
That's kind of where my brain went to. You can go Bosk, Dengar, Han. There's a lot
so
of
basically what I
7-point
did with
ships.
Cam's,
Fen.
what I thought was a better solution for this is still going down to Dengar, which opens up 3 points. But what you do with those 3 points is you up Gamut into Paylob, which gives you the title, which is the only ship. I think it's the only ship in Scum that allows you to take the.
So you just to clarify, you're saying drop Boba to Dengar.
Drop Bobar to Dengar in order to get Gamut to Paylob.
See,
Okay.
I think in that instance though, so you are gaining some hitting power, even though Boba hits probably as hard as Dengar through the game. You are allowing more stuff to exist in the list, but then you're putting something on the board at Dengar that is more likely to die than Boba. So it depends on what you want to do. It's like, do you want that big ship in Scum to just hit really hard and be really hard to kill? Which I think, how much is Dengar? 7, 8?
7 points.
7? It's 7. I like Bosk a lot. Bosk is hard to kill, and I still think Gamut is a really good value for 3 cost. You put Protector, Gleb, and then like either like Elusive and whatever 2-point talent you want.
I don't disagree with you. I was just trying to keep the same number of ships. I think, to your point,
But you'd rather smooth it out, though. You'd rather have more even distribution of points.
Yeah, because Paylob, I think, is going to do more.
7-7.
Paylob is basically a running around with 2 force, or I'm not force, 2 with a couple focus built up, stealing focus, stealing evades, good at capturing objectives. Plus, it's basically like a walking false transponder code. It's just basically like, nope, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. So
yeah,
I think
it makes
that punch a little bit harder. But I agree with Ryan that Gleb is better. And I go back to our original comments that more is better. So I think if you can get down to like whether it's Dengar or any other 7-point ship, one of the gauntlets or Bosk, and add an extra ship, you're better.
So how would you run Boba then? Would you?
So yeah, I was about to say I wouldn't get it twisted. So if I had the option between Dengar or something else like Bosk, I would take Bosk. But I think Boba still has a really good place. You're putting a ship on the board that can attack twice, and a lot of times the front and back arc happens way more now than it used to, because you have the range 0 attacks, and with Force, it can be modded with the Maul Force. Then on top of that, you have all the mods you need out the rear if someone's at range 0 of you. He's really disruptive. He's a medium base. He can gun for the middle objective if he wants to in satellite array, and pretty much tell anyone around him that they're going to get either really hurt or he's going to take the middle objective anyway. And we're talking about other stuff around him. I do think you start with Gamut and Hav, and then decide, what do I want to do with the last 5 points? Do I want to do another 3 and a Drew? Do I want to do a 5 like we have here? I'm not sure if the Mandalorian Royal Guard's the right call, because I think Boba's durable on his own. Maybe Joy Rekoff, since you have Coordinate, you could do the Ion Torp, Cutthroat combination, and now the new, I think it gives him 5 points. You got the new Mando Optics card too. Get that system phase lock. Or you could even up a Hav still has a lot of good value because he's that mining guild tie that can go through rocks. But maybe if you don't want to bring rocks and you want to bring something else because you have Boba, maybe gas clouds, you could take that Mandalorian Royal Guard, drop it to Cad Solus at 4, and up a Hav to say like a Z95 Bosk who can hit above his weight pretty often. And he has a lot of points to work with.
Now,
Hull, crack shot, and marksmanship.
I want to bring this back around real quick. So back to Will. The specific thing that Jordan was asking about is, he's having trouble with the B-Wings and Falcons. He said those are my bane, the bane of my list's existence right now. What tweak would you do to the list he has here in order to give him a better matchup there?
I would. I'm looking through 5-point ships right now, and I'm not happy with a lot of them in Scum. I think I don't like 3-point ships in Scum. You have like a couple Hawks, and that's about it.
So is
I
this?
think I would reach for maybe Namlam, but I guess his I1 is not great though.
So is the suggestion, what we're saying is, like, if you're gonna fly Boba Fett in this 4-ship list, you're probably going to continue to have the same issues unless there is a change in the approach here. Because what we're having an issue is with the wingmates of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think you think Gamaki, great support piece, would probably utilize Galeb if you can. Coordinate's good, it turns out. Yeah, I might. Man, yeah, you're gonna struggle to get firepower because there's just nothing spammable, right? So I think that's what I would be looking at. Maybe another Hawk like Dace, and maybe dropping down to a tankier ship like Manaru. Manaru and Galmatkir, great combination, especially with what is it? Overtuned modulators. It can give your opponent some big cheap thing to be distracted by, why Boba can run around picking up objectives if he needs to.
All right. So, I mean, I will say in chance engagement, this list looks like it'd probably be pretty solid. But that's only one. That's only one of the 4.
Right.
All right. Here we go. I'm gonna pull a list here from. This is from Ignatius. This is a resistance list labeled heroes. And he says, I like flying Poe and I like flying Rey and Flyboy Poe. Period. They're fun, they're thematic, and they hit hard. But what to do with the remaining 5 squad points? I think due to scenarios, I need 2 bodies. Bucket and Merrill seem logical as they can zip around and focus on objectives. But is that the right route? Are Rey and Poe enough punch? Is this list too obviously split between task doers and punchers? Is there in quotations? I'm worried that in chance engagement, Bucket doesn't have too much to contribute. Well, I want to go back to the little conversation we just had, that just kind of a little bit with, nice little bridge here, is chance engagement is only one of 4. But I want to go ahead and just take a look at this. Obviously, Rey out there doing her thing, right? You got Rey with Rose Tico, Finn, and the Rey's Millennium Falcon. That's pretty much been a staple on her. We got Heroic, Novice Technician, and Engine Upgrade as well. Trigger, is that Flyboy Poe? Right, Trigger Happy Flyboy. Poe with Crackshot, R4 Astromech, Ferrosphere Paint, Proton Torpedoes, Overdrive Thrusters, and Black One, and of course S-Foil. So those are 2 very high-powered ships. Bucket, aka R1J5. Before you expose one of your damage cards, you may look at your face-down damage cards to choose one. Basically, I mean, its ability just lets you have a little bit more flexibility with the explosion with wings, and then Marrow Coben in that A-wing, zipping around, potentially lowering your enemy's defense. I think. One of the things that AMG talked about is said that there's value in just straight up murdering things, and I feel like if you're gonna go with the route of taking Rey and Poe, do you combine those 5 points for something else that hits hard and can take ordnance as well? I'm not sure what that is in Resistance. Does anything come to your guys' mind?
ZZ with Prockets, but that's single modded. And maybe one of the T70s, but again, most of the things will be single modded. Yeah,
Zori can double mod.
I think we've seen before at the Cherokee Open, someone had, 1 or 2 people had success with Rey, Poe, Zori. Granted, they had a original dogfight in the first round, so that would play into that list strengths of just killing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, still won other objective games, but
Right.
Ray Pozori is something that I think people who are doing 3 ships in Resistance are mainly looking at.
Yep. And that's where my brain immediately went. It's like if you're gonna bring Ray and Poe and you want to punch, you can go ahead. And I still think you have options in the objectives. You're just gonna have to be. I think your goal is less. Like, I don't think you can go one on each side. Like, go left, right, center, go forward. I think you're gonna have to play more of. Try to keep pace with the objectives, maybe scoring 2 points a turn there, and you're using your offense to clear ships and try to make up the deficit that way.
I was going to ask you, can you just like let your opponent go and use their action to take an objective, and then you just kill that ship because it's actionless? Like,
I mean, if they let you, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm suggesting with taking Zora. You kid her out with torpedoes and everything, and you prioritize murder.
So yeah, violence first. Then
Violence
objectives.
first. That's
Okay.
right.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, to Dion's point, you got to kill a ship a turn at the very least to keep up, because they're probably 3 objectives. 3-1 on the first turn, maybe 4-1 at some point, unless you're killing a ship. And you got to consider that the Empire, the Republic, and there's one, I think a couple other factions that will allow you to have the action to take the objective plus have modified defensive dice. So the Scum with Sarasu, Republic with different coordinate. Most republics have Ahsoka, which will probably toss you an evade token. Then you go and you take the action. And you got Force to help you out, and you have the Naboos that'll have the free evade. And then with the Empire, you have Gorin. There's a lot of Gorin and either X1s or interceptors that'll just throw that evade token. So there's the Alpha Strike. A lot of factions have, and in the Rebel is just a lot of beef. You got like 8, 9, 10 point hell ships, so it makes it really tough to Alpha Strike or kill a ship every turn, because there's a lot of passive defensive modifiers right now.
All right, and I think one of the objectives that you're going to end up struggling with in this list, if you were to take these 3 ships, scramble the transmissions, the one where you have to use your action to claim it, and then you have to use your action to attempt to scramble it and get it back at the scramble action. That could be a little bit tough for this list. I think it'd be if you place those objectives. If you can try to get it one-sided, where you can maybe end up fighting an assault in the satellite array. There's the ones where you have to be within range 0 to 1. Leaning towards one side, you should be okay there. Chance engagement, we know that'll be fine. And in salvage cargo, I think it'll be okay. But definitely, this scramble transmission seems tough.
Can I ask you? So just to make sure, so Zori. And specifically these ships, Zori could take her action to capture, and then Ray could come up and give Zori the action. And same thing with Poe.
Yeah.
Poe could come up, do the action, and then do a red focus or something, right?
I mean, I actually think in a list like this, it's where Commander Poe, because he can help anyone out, a friendly ship could do an objective action that Commander Poe can use his ability to help them get another action, right? Even something as simple as taking, so if you want to like expand this list into a 4 ship but keep a Falcon and Poe, explore a little bit doing Commander Poe and try Chewie Falcon with Ray Gunner. Then it frees up splitting Zori and the remaining, I think, 2 more points that you gain with that, 7 in total, to find a 3 and a 4. And right now, to me, some of the best 3 and 4 in Resistance right now, Fin Pod and Rose Pod. that Finn hits just as hard and as consistent as Ray, because he gets perceptive, advanced optics, and heroic.
Can you? I was trying to think of the combination of you were mentioning Bucket before, right? Can Commander Poe allow Bucket to slam and then grab an objective?
Slam can only be your
Main action.
your main action,
Right.
your perform action, step action.
And
But then-
objectives can also only be your main action as of now.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Allen helped because especially things with like
Because
Vader's
Poe
ability.
doesn't work as your second,
Like-
right? Always has to be
Well-
the first.
No. Poe's is the second if he gives it to an ally.
That's what I mean.
his is the
The
extra.
objective has to be the first.
Correct. And a slam slam has to be the first. So you pick one or the other.
Slam doesn't have to be the first, but you can't. It wouldn't work how I'm thinking. I'm thinking slamming to an objective and then Poe lets you claim it, which doesn't work. Okay.
No.
Good to know.
Yep. All right, so that's our suggestions there for the resistance. You got some options there, and I know one of the things, I know they like their Ray Poe. You can tell they like their toys. The 25 points. When you do go down to the Heralds of Hope Poe, you are losing about half of those upgrade points. So do keep that in mind if you're starting to look at Poe, because you will not be able to have the exact same Poe. You're gonna have to make a few sacrifices there, but again, to Ryan's point, you're sacrificing that to try to add additional ships and spread out some of the punch that you have going on. All right, Ryan, we've hit all the factions. Follow your heart. Where do you want to go?
Whatever I had prepared here, which was either a Resistance or Empire. Since we just did Resistance, it sounds like Empire.
All right.
It's from Siren. I have the Discord because they wrote a lot here.
Got it.
Link here. Search. All right, so we have Siren likes the alphas that diving opponent's side objectives early, being at range 1, dislikes being last on the board. What he likes about Moff Gideon, focusing, sloops, dislikes being shot. I mean, everything dislikes being shot. Likes for Vermeil, likes the sloops, the red maneuvers, hounding the objectives, unmodded targets, dislikes not shooting. Yeah, Vermeil would like to shoot things. Merrick, it's good that he likes that it can fly slow. Really good against low agility targets for the crit. Likes that Gideon sits nearby things for him, nerfing bigger threats, but does not like dying and not having locks and turning around. Right now, overall, likes Merrick Steel, the Reaper, rolling dice, dislikes losing my favorite chips early. Yeah, that's about everyone's normal takes. So I do think, obviously, the baseline alphas with discipline and sensitive controls, I think they're great pieces right now. I think they could exist without like a Nash or a Goron, but both Nash and Goron are 4 cost and could replace Gideon, but let's see if we keep Gideon in this one, because I think Gideon does have some great play with Vermeil and other pilots around that area. I don't know if I like Merrick as a 5 cost ship though, but they do like Merrick. Probably because Vermeil in this list has Tactical Officer, Captain Hark, and Ion Limiter Override, which has white coordinate, which is good. No red, which in some cases actually does help the Reaper slow down, but Siren does really like the fact that when you do reds with Vermeil, you have Captain Hark to back up getting focus, but also Ion Limiter Override to get a sneaky barrel roll to get in spots that most people can't with medium bases when they flip around.
Can I interject? You do get to choose. You have a red and white coordinate then.
Oh, true. Yeah, you could pick either or. Yeah. On Moff Gideon, he has Elusive, Thread Tracers, Contraband, and Precise Ion Engine. So likes doing the red maneuvers, has Precise Ion Engine to maximize more red positions. Although I think what might be sneaky good on him is Cloaking Device. Gideon just wants to be close to things to sneak in and or have other enemies or friends be around stuff to turn on his ability. I think cloaking, not only either staying cloaking, but also doing that decloaks in the system phase could get him into really weird spots that most people don't see. And that's an easy equal swap there with the 3 points. That's just something you could consider. And I think, so if you like Merrick Steel, cool, keep him. I think the loadout's mostly okay. You definitely want crack shot. Marksmanship's a good combo for him. Fire control system, shield upgrade. I mean, so even though, health is good, so is afterburners. Giving this X1 boost is a really good thing. We see it on Vader. We don't see a ton of Merrick before because Merrick didn't have the points or wasn't allotted the points because there was bidding and all this other stuff, right? So yeah, all that other stuff. So right now, I mean, I think Afterburners is a really good play over just more health, because Afterburners can get you not only to objectives, to contest them, it can get you around better. I mean, I think boost is one of the best actions you can have right now in this current game.
Why not both? I mean, Merrick, why not drop munitions and mag pulse for just Afterburners?
You could drop the munition
shield?
and take both. You're right. Yeah.
Just get shield. Yeah,
you'd equal it out. You wouldn't bother with the mag pulse missiles. I do think, though, the good thing with the mag pulse, at least in this version, is it enables Vermeil and making his shot hit something that's jammed. But what I think might be one of the better 5-cost ships right now, if you were considering to swap things out to give it a shot, is Fifth Brother in the TIE Advanced V1, because that is another ship that can take auto blasters and malice. So you don't want it Vermeil flanking you. You probably don't want Fifth Brother flanking you. One of them's gonna get it. So I think Fifth Brother could have a really good play in here. And like I said, you could even try Moff Gideon swapping to either Nash or Goron to see what kind of works well. Just other options you can look at, because I think the 2 interceptors in Vermeil as it is a fun starting point, and then finding out what 4 costs, because there's a lot of good 4 costs between playing around with Moff Gideon. He's new and trying things out. Nash, Goron. I think Nash might be a little more important in this one, because if you're putting in Goron, you're only really protecting the other interceptors, which is still helpful. And then for the 5s, I think it's Fifth Brother's probably the best 5 in Empire. Let me take a quick look to see what in the card browser, what else might make sense at 5. But I think if you were to spread out and try other things, that's the first place I would start, is Fifth Brother instead of Merrick. Other 5s that exist in the faction, you got Duchess. That could be a good one. That's kind of the only one that stands out, unless you just do Seventh Sister instead of Fifth Brother, but I think Fifth Brother's just better with that cannon.
All right. Let's keep the party going here. Will, I think it's your turn. Is it your turn, Will? I don't know. I'm lost.
Nope, I go after Ryan. That is correct. So we've gone through all the factions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever. Follow your heart.
All right, we're going an FO squad from Psych J7 that I have listed in the notes here. Shout out to him.
Got it.
For submitting the list. Let's see what he has to say. Running Gideon in the side shuttle with an unmatching initiative list to help power up their 2 dice shots when applicable. The bomber is worth it for area control with bombs, or is it worth replacing the Fombers with 2 more I-4 Whispers? So let's take a look here. Starts off with Gideon Hask. If you remember, Gideon Hask can get a ship a 3rd attack dice, only a 3rd attack dice, if the defender is damaged. This one's got Fanatical, Proud, Pattern, Biohex, General Hux, and Tactical Officer. So lot of actions available to him, including some multiple coordinates. With him, we got Nightfall with Proud Tradition Pattern Analyzer, Ion Missiles, and Sensor Scramblers. Nightfall is the I4 who hands out jams when you move through other ships, whether a booster or a maneuver. Whirlwind shows up again, this one with Predator, Proud, Ion, and Pattern. I see a lot of people like that Proud Pattern combination for focus locking. Focus jam lock. Yeah, you can link off of Proud.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, you can link off of Pattern, excuse me. So you could boost jam and then Proud focus, I guess. Anyways, Dread comes in. This is the Fomber who likes to reload to hand out depletes. Ion missiles, pattern analyzer, delayed fuses, and the new Blazer bomb, which apparently explodes and then leaves some sort of obstacle for 2 rounds. So kind of a combination of a regular bomb and the electroshaft clouds. And then Grudge, the bomber who likes to reroll bombs or mines, feedback ping, pattern analyzer, ion missiles, proxy mines, and delayed fuses. Whew, so many upgrades. So some things to consider is the bombers. That's what Psycho was talking about. You can power up their shots with Gideon, but only if they can get a damage card on there first, and then you can start getting 3-dice turrets and 3-dice bomber attacks that aren't ion missiles. First thing, let's start here. Gideon Hask should have, drop all that stuff. You only have 2 of each chassis, so Hux is minimal value.
Gone.
What you need to put on is Agent Terex and Commander Pyre. Agent Terex can throw calculates at the start of combat, and then potentially get free calculates for yourself after that. Turns out, if we're only playing 5 rounds, those 3 calculates on Terex provide a lot of value. Same thing with Pyre.
Pyre makes you so sad.
Oh man, Pyre is the
Love it
funniest.
so much.
The funniest one. I got kind of a running nose. See, weather changing always affects me. But when a ship lines up to take the center objective to tow or scramble, Pirate.
No. No.
You put a ship who is gonna come joust my squad. No, double stress. We're all gonna fly forward towards you. Don't worry about it.
You put a lat in the top right-hand corner and only has straight maneuvers that are blue. It's double stress. I did that.
Yeah, are you? Yeah, geez, like it's so. Pyre has the perfect setup. It's after placing forces. It kind of has to be, but I guess it could be after a ship is placed. But yeah, that knowledge plus it's going to give you defensive rerolls on Gideon, allowing you to stay around longer. Which I always just put Fanatical and Proud. They're pretty good. You could go Endearing, I guess, or Elusive, but
would you think maybe Proud and Biohex?
What do you biohexing?
Anything that could get farther away from you than range 2?
Oh yeah, because I don't like biohex unless I have a way to get free locks like buoys or something. Otherwise, Gideon's always my person who can grab an objective like easily, because I think he's tanky in these 5 FO lists.
I find myself coordinating turn 1 with him quite often on top of throwing a calculate with Terex.
That's possible too, but then if you're coordinating, you're not target locking them. So
I think it's a better setup for chance engagement when you have more turns to play with, I think.
Okay, I could go with
that.
that.
I definitely see Fanatical and it's like you said, Elusive or Enduring or something that's... Because I feel like Fanatical and Proud are like this. You're doing the same thing.
And just one thing.
Crowds for defense, I guess.
One thing I want to clarify here is the strength of Commander Pyre is the fact that you have no recourse against it. Like once it's done, like it happens at the beginning of the turn, like you deciding like, well, I'm gonna go kill Commander Pyre. It's over. It's over. It's already like it affects you for 2 turns guaranteed. And there's zero things you can do about it.
Yeah, it's just so good. Like I said, you figure out the rest of the 3 points. You could put pretty much whatever you want on them, right?
Flavor to taste.
Yeah, flavor to taste. Ooh, so close to getting buoys though. Buoy and Hex. But I'm not willing to drop Terex. Like I said, I think it's really good. The times when you could go, because now you could Terex round 1, right? Like with the amount of engagements that are happening, as you said, right? Coordinate a ship, and then there it goes.
Yeah, I've definitely coordinated a Revis and evade. Send him straight up the middle with a 5 straight to grab the middle objective, and then tossed him a calculate.
That's pretty good. That's just keep you alive. So I think that is a great base. That Gideon, just money for these kind of 4 to 5 ship builds in first order right now.
Feels like value at 4 points.
I mean, it's surprisingly tanky. Like, it's got good debuffs and buffs, right?
I don't know if it retains its value in a 4 ship though. Like you're talking about a quarter.
You'd have to be like coordinating like Silencer Kylo or somebody.
Yeah, but... I find a lot of value. I found a 6 ship I really like. 5 is where it's getting a little shaky because you're still one of your more expensive ships in it. So there's some 5s that could definitely make it work for sure. But I think 6, I got a list I like a lot. Let's put it that way.
All right, well,
he's cooking something up.
Going back to these, so I struggle to like the bombers, and I say that I know everyone's like, what? They are so good, but like this list would frustrate me with the amount of 2 dice attacks I would be taking before we start putting damage cards out. You almost need a way to guarantee damage, and there's not really like a homing missile or anything you could really put on these guys that would, you could really guarantee that kind of synergy. What I would do, I do think bombers are great for objectives, right? They're fast. They have a reasonable amount of health. They could drop bombs, obviously, to cover objectives. I just don't think it would be worth it. What I do think would be worth it to change out, and I'm actually going to change out, we're just going to drop both the bombers, we're going to keep Whirlwind for simplicity, even though I think I would still bump them up to any I4. I really like Captain Phasma and Backdraft as some I4s out there. Both of them can be loaded up with Special Forces Gunner and Fire Control System. And then you can even get in Fanatical. I think you even get a missile on Phasma as well, a little ion missile for fun. The combination now, while we might be getting away from Gideon, these do shoot before Gideon, so allow him to get his extra dice more often. But don't forget the rear arcs of these SFs, like Captain Phasma. If you don't have a lock, you can juice those up as well. And now you have essentially 4 turrets in your list then too, which means you do not have to turn back for engagements. You could just keep moving to the next set of objectives. Whereas with the bombers, you had to rely on what you're dropping behind you. With these guys, you can still take shots while doing so. What is the price difference between Whirlwind and the 107th? Oh, you lose loadout value. Okay,
yeah,
that's
but probably better to stick with
fair.
the named.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of want all I4s here, but not necessary, I guess.
I mean, it's pretty close. The only one that's not is that Whirlwind. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I like that, Will.
Yeah, it's man. Like I said, I've been really liking back Jeff and Phasma. So cheap. Phasma, if they're not shooting at Gideon, you just hand the Phasma damage off to Gideon, like whatever. Everybody's got Fanatical, so you can kind of pick and choose who Phasma hands tokens or hands the damage off to.
She is a good crit carrier when you can tell someone else to take a crit for you.
Exactly, right? She goes up and snatches all the crates.
All right. Now, Marcel, we're going to go ahead and take us out here with our last list for the week. What do you got?
I don't know. Pick one, and I'll do it on the spot.
Oh, he's like, I'm that good, baby.
No,
I'm that good.
The other two that I added, one of them we already talked about, which was a 3-ship one, and the other one is Sammy's list. Love you, Sammy, but I can't fix it. I can't fix it with just swapping one because you took ISP slicers. They're just bad. And then I would just have to redo the whole list. So just pick one.
Okay, here we go. This is from Chase. This is from Chase Fair, aka Baffle. Says, haven't seen much resistance, so I'm throwing this this list at you. Not sure how to build out the X-Wings or if they should just be changed out to something else. So this is a 5-ship resistance list. We got a Roby Tice, Greer Sonal, Kai, Jackrus Tubbs, and Merle Coben. We got heroic optics on the A-Wings that are there. Kai with nothing at the moment, and Jackrus with nothing at the moment, because the question is, how do you build them out in this loadout?
Okay. All right, so this is a good one. So with Robbie, can you read Robbie's ability, please?
Robbie's ability is after you defend at range 1. If the attacker modified its dice, the attacker gains 1 deplete token. So if you spent your focus or your target lock against Ryobi, sorry, that's a tool brand. Roby, you get a deplete token.
So basically, it doesn't have a real ability.
It doesn't.
Yeah, so we're going to swap that one out. So we're going to keep everything the same, but we're just going to swap Roby out for
Ronith?
No. For
Sefton?
Do Sir Linda. Do Sir Linda. Sir Linda gets a cannon.
No.
She gets a cannon on an
She
RZ2.
does get a cannon, but no, we're going to go with what's his name?
Kaz?
Bringing in the Kaz.
That's like a really good 4-point chip. So Kaz, and it'll make sense later because it actually supports with everything else. It's also initiative 4. It's the same initiative. So you're going to put heroic, R5.
Oh, we've been given an additional task with this one. Okay. We could change it however we want. Just no pods. No pods allowed.
Well, that's the
Are you
only
serious?
thing
No Finn, no Rose?
No pods allowed, Ryan.
No pods. Get your pods out of here.
They're so good. They're so good.
All right, sorry. So
heroic.
All right, heroic.
Okay, so heroic
on Kaz, yes. R5.
Advanced Slam.
Advanced Slam.
Then the title. And coaxium thing. There you go. So Greer's fine as it is, have 5 points. Merle is fine as it is, have 5 points. So we're going to build out Sai and Jackrus. Jackrus is initiative 1, flying together with Merle. So we're going to put R4 on Jackrus because Jackrus' ability is when you successfully complete a blue maneuver, successfully complete a blue maneuver, you can remove a stress from a friendly ship. R4 just amplifies that a little bit. And we're going to also add automated target priority. So you can use your focus on defense. And then let's give it a hull upgrade, just keep it alive a little bit longer. We're gonna keep 1 point on the table with him, and we're gonna be okay with that. Then with Sai, for the astromech, you're gonna go M9G8. And while a ship you are locking performs an attack, you may choose one attack die, and if you do, attack rerolls that attack die. Kazuda does not get a target lock action, so it's just basically gives it a reroll on offense, and it's probably going to be one of your ships that is most effective in this list. And for the talent, just heroic. I mean, it's actually super boring, but it's straightforward and effective. You've got 2 A-wings with heroic and advanced optics. They're very consistently putting out 2 damage and very good defensively and very good at getting objectives. The 2 T-70s stick around for a while, one of them with an extra hull upgrade, the other one with heroic in case it blanks out on its defensive dice. And then J-Chris can use its focus defensively, and then if it needs it, it'll have the automated target priority to give it something back. Kazuda with heroic, regen, coaxium, advanced lam. That's just basically both your hitter and your objective getter. And Merle is really good at which is the objective that you carry it, you take it and you carry it with you. It's a very fast
the
ship,
salvage cargo.
Yeah, the tow.
Salvage cargo. Yes.
So yeah, Merle's actually super good at that. So it gives you an initiative 1 that goes out there and grabs that really fast. And then something else, read Size ability.
Before we get too far into this, we did get clarified in the chat. Baffles said he only built the squad to 19 points. We have 1 extra point we can use somewhere on a ship.
I just paid attention. I had not paid attention to that. All right, Kazuda, I love you, but get out of
Whoa, you're getting rid of Kaz?
Oh wow!
Well, no,
he spent all this time. Like, this is a great ship. Actually,
It
eject.
You could take Kai or J-Chris and make it like Nimi or Bastion
get a
or
real
Temin,
T-70 in
Wexley.
there.
Yeah, real T-70s.
No,
You can make Greer into a real T-70.
All right. We'll take Greer out, and we're not going to turn it into a real T-70. He wanted A-wings. We're going to keep it in A-wings. We're going to bring it up to ZZ as it should be. So it'll be ZZ with heroic and optics and a let's give it a.
He said it. Beth was saying Wabri was supposed to be ZZ.
Yeah.
Which is why that list is wrong.
ZZ, Sai, J. Chris, and Merle. Again, Merle's really good at getting those tow ones. And then another thing that I was going to say, can you read Size ability?
So size ability is after you fully execute a maneuver. If you moved through a friendly ship, you may perform a evade action.
Okay. So funny enough, this is actually the exact list that I built for Kayla to take to Adapticon. It's between this and a Republic list. And one of the things that you can do together with Sai and J-Chris when you're going after these after the objective that the opponent puts on your side, which has to be 1 to 4, is I put J-Chris and Sai together. Just do a 1 or a 2 bank with J-Chris, and then Sai 4 forward to capture that objective, and it gives them an automatic evade. So you can get the evade, take the action to take the objective, and then from there, you still can do stuff. So that's just a little like turn 0 thing you can do with those 2 ships put together. It's just put one in front of the other so that Sai can go and get 1 objective. ZZ and Merle are both very good at getting the center objective. So you'll probably end up with 3 objectives turn 1 pretty easily with this one. So actually, I didn't even think about it, but that's exactly the list that I built for Kayla. This one or a 6-ship Republic list.
Let me ask you this. With objective actions or actions to get 2 objectives being more prevalent right now, do we think advanced optics still has good value?
100%.
I don't like it. I don't like it, but I've never liked it. So,
well, you've never been right on this particular thing.
Okay, I'll give you this on Merle and like blues, right? Where you're I1, like if you have the focus, you get to spend it regardless. But
if you have the focus left over, right, after everyone's already shot.
Yeah,
you're probably
but
fine.
other than like Merle and I1s, I've never been a fan.
Well, ZZ gets the focus back. So,
Okay, that You got me
And
there.
not only does ZZ get the focus back, ZZ gets the focus back, but if ZZ shoots second, then it has a double focus to really get like a very. It's at that point it's Finn.
Okay, so
Because
I'll give you that. On ZZ, it might be the deciding factor.
And funny enough, we got ZZ and Merle on this one, so
Okay.
we got optics on the right ones.
I guess.
Still don't know about heroic on both of them, but that's a whole nother story.
Same thing. There is no worse feeling than blanking out and dying. So
It's emotional insurance, Ryan. That's it.
Emotional insurance. Yeah, I know. I'm an emotionless person.
I think it's. I mean, on ZZ, to me, it means that I never had to think about taking evades. I can always just focus, knowing that it will be beneficial at some point.
I don't know if that's true. You could. I mean, I think you're more likely to get focus blank than you are triple blank anyway. And evade was still
focus
up there.
Focus blank is as good as my focus was then.
As good as your evade was.
As good as my evade was.
Because
then.
it still only counts towards one evade.
Okay, and I end up being 100% correct. Chase in the chat says it's 100% emotional insurance. All right, so we should sell some heroic cards, or get some heroic cards made that look like insurance cards. I think that's going to be our next.
Needs to be the really crappy insurance.
Yeah, where it's like,
because it really
printed
is.
on a piece
It
of
really
paper.
is like the lowest level insurance.
If
If
you're
it
from
gets
Chicago,
totaled, it's like
general.
if it gets totaled, then I'm covered. If it's anything else, I'm not covered.
Jeez.
They don't know the Chicago ones. The general is here for you.
That's right. United Auto Insurance. Anyway, so everybody, hopefully you guys enjoyed our deep dive there into lists. We got through 10 lists, not bad. There's so much to unpack here. There's so much to unpack, and all the lists we looked at were all really different. Lots of great questions, and we are officially bringing back the list of the week segment. That'll be something that we bring back here now that we're in this whole new world here. As for next week, some people were asking, well, what are you going to be covering next week? I would like to bring on Paul Olson. Hopefully he's available for next week, because he is the congratulations, the Jank Tank champion, and get an opportunity for him to talk about where he wants to put his prize money. As you guys, if you remember or not, he's going to be able to. Fly Better and Gold Squadron will be donating. I forget the exact amount. I'm gonna have to go look at it. It was about $300 and change to a charity of his choice. So we'll go ahead and do that. Any other things you guys want to bring up before we sign off for the day? But I think
Paul Olson cheated. He played better than me. That's not allowed. He
was a better player. It's unfair.
Yeah. He beat me like after like 3 or 4 rounds. That was such a...
I think he did. Not to spoil it, but his engagement was like perfect. It could not have gone better. For him.
It was really good. I felt pretty good about it too, but after that first exchange,
there was some back and forth. You still had in the game.
It was still a game till the end. But after that first engagement, in my mind I was behind, and then I made dumb mistakes to try to get back ahead. But it was probably closer than I thought. Yeah,
that's. I do have that recorded, and it should be up on YouTube. In between Las Vegas and Crossroads.
Yep. There you go.
Adapticon. Right afterwards.
Adapticon. That's right. We'll sneak it in. And somewhere around there, I think I brought it up on the last podcast. Maybe this was on Saturday. We have like 40 streams worth of footage that we don't have time to cut it up. And I just kind of want to drop it just to have it out there, so that might show up in your inboxes at some point as well. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Get ready for Adapticon. If you need to get on the wait list, follow the instructions on the event packet. But for now, everybody, be smart, be safe. Gold Squadron out.